So you want to make a throwing knife target. Well, it's pretty simple. Obviously I need a lot of practice. Think of this like darts with knives. So I built this from the ground up because this is actually fairly heavy and I was uncertain whether or not I could get it mounted up there with any precision if I built the target part first. So a couple things to notice. It's got these legs. The legs are 4 feet long. There's two, one there, one there. The distance between these two supports is exactly 24.5 inches, and I'll explain why later. And then from this to the ground is 42.5 inches. And I set that distance based on, I wanted this to be a little bit below eye level for me, so that this would be a nice, comfortable, ergonomic throwing thing. You could put it lower, you could adjust this height however you wanted. Now, as to this being 24.5 inches, the reason that is that these are 4x4s, and actually each of them actually ends up measuring 3.5 by 3.5, not 4x4, because of the way they process lumber. And so 7 of these in a row should be 24.5 inches. Now, interestingly, I found some inconsistencies in my lumber, which of course you're going to do, and so every once in a while these blocks were bigger than they should have been, or smaller than they should have been. So if you'll see, every once in a while you'll see one of these where it's not an end grain, it's more of a cross grain or side grain, and that's simply because there were inconsistencies in the width of each of these 4x4s. So there are 49 total of these blocks. You have to make them each 3.5 inches deep, because that's the width of your 2x4 if you want it to fit and sit in there nice and snug. You'll also notice some bracing in here, and that's just to keep this sturdy back and forth and front to back. And I made all these braces just out of leftover lumber after I got done cutting all the pieces. Now the uprights are 76.5 inches. So like I said, I started building from the ground up. Once I got to here, on each side I put a little angle brace just so that I could set this board at the right length, or at the right height from the ground with minimal trouble. Then each of these blocks is set in place and glued. You can probably still see some wood glue that's still drying. And like I said, due to inconsistencies in the lumber, every once in a while you'll have to put one sideways. So I left those out at the end because I'm theoretically less likely to hit them out there. Once I got to the top, I was planning on this being 24.5 inches, so I'd pre-cut a 2x4 to be that width, and it ended up being too short. So I had a piece of 4x4 left over and I used that. And that one ended up at about 25 inches. Again, because of inconsistencies in the block width. And I secured everything together with screws, thinking that it would be a little better method of construction. So that's it. That's how you build a knife throwing target that's end grain and should last you quite a while. At least I hope it does. Thanks for watching.